Hi folks, it's Frost here for another post-game ramble. First thing I want to address is I know last time I forgot to make the game video public before I made the post-game public, and a few people saw the post-game first. I think they're a bit confused, so I'll make sure to do it right this time. Um, we've just finished the game that I've just uploaded where I won with an awesome ram at the end, which looked really really cool, and I need to do that more often. And we're looking at our fleet here now. We have a lot of options open to us here. We could buy a new cruiser. We can upgrade, sorry, buy a new light cruiser. We can upgrade our cruiser, which is currently our flagship. We can upgrade the Great Purity, which is our old flagship. We've already upgraded quite a lot. We can also upgrade the Chosen of Boeta, which is our other one. And if I did, I'd get the upgraded macro cannons on it. We also have the option to upgrade one of our escort ships. The thing that's holding us back, however, is how much valor we have. Sorry, renown. We use renown to buy things, and we're currently a bit limited, mostly because I originally bought a different cruiser and I swapped it out for this one. And let me talk about this cruiser for the moment. The Dictator Cruiser is a bit of a jack of an all trades cruiser. You get other cruisers that have Nova cannons, and you've seen what the Nova cannon does. Personally, I don't think a lot of it, but a lot of people do really, really like it. You've got ships that have better broadsides because you've got ones that have double macro cannon batteries. The ordnance bays that this ship uses to launch fighters, bombers, and assault boats take up the side slots of the ship that would normally have the broadsides. But it makes up for that by being a really good anchor for a fleet. You can build around it. It can do a little bit of everything. The torpedoes are strong. The ramming is strong. These are not bad macro batteries, as you just saw, and I'm sure you noticed as well that the bombers and the assault boats did a lot of work in that game. So as a whole, I think it's a really good starting point for a fleet, and we'll probably be sitting at the cruiser level for a while. I think even when we get to like the max rank and there's battleships, we'll still be using cruisers, and we'll want good solid cruisers, and I think I'll be taking this ship with me all the time. The only downside to it is it's very micro intensive. I have had a game where I've run the cruiser and the light cruiser, and I've almost been sort of torn between which ship to use, and I've ended up with ships not moving and things like that. So you have to be really careful. It's quite difficult to run. The other thing I've noticed is the captain of this ship is a big fat guy, which is amazing. Like all my other captains are. This guy's probably the least augmented human. This guy looks a bit up his own ass, and then we've got this big fat guy who's I just like that. Anyway, we need to talk about upgrading the ship because I'm definitely going to be spending points on it. Now, I have already bought for it. We'll just go to skills, as you saw, the supercharged void shield, which makes the shield impenetrable for 10 seconds. I actually think that I've misunderstood what this does. It doesn't make the ship invulnerable. It means that any shots that strike the shield for the next 10 seconds will not penetrate the shields, which is a big difference, but it's still very good. And also, of course, the micro warp jump, because, well, as you saw at the end, that was the game finisher. So we have upgrades here. There's quite a lot of choices. The speed increase for the ship might actually be a good one. If we have a look at the speed stat for this ship, it's 150. If we look at the light cruisers, it's 188, so it'll lag behind the fleet. If I get this speed upgrade, it should jump its speed up to 200, making it the fastest ship in my fleet. There's another reason for looking at this. It's because chaos ships are very fast, and they are long-range ships. And if I don't have decent speed, they will sit at long range, and they will plink away at me, and I will not have fun. So at the moment, I'm very heavily looking at this. The other thing I'm interested in is turn speed. Its turn speed at the moment is 10 degrees a second. Light cruisers are 15. If I upgrade the move speed on this ship, it'll be as maneuverable as a light cruiser. That's kind of tempting too. I'm not too worried about efficient plasma thrusters. I'm not too worried about the emissions dissipator. Shields and stuff, I think its shields are okay. I'm not too worried about deck upgrades either. The extra turrets is very tempting, but I haven't faced too many people running fighters or torpedoes yet. In fact, I am the only person I have seen using torpedoes very heavily. Everyone goes for Nova cannons. So I don't think the turrets are a first pick. Our other choices I don't think are too strong. Increased range and macro cannons. I only have one slot devoted to macro cannons. Additional lightning strikes. I've got assault boats to do my boarding. Armor piercing ammo, I don't know how often I'll be within 3,000 yards. Automated refueling system, which reduces the cooldown on squadrons, that's quite tempting. 20% is a lot. Or the targeting matrix, again, I don't have enough macro cannons, but I think I'm going to start with the speed upgrade. I think that's a really good first pick, and you notice that's going to cost me 100. That's a lot of renown. So let's fit the speed upgrade. So now if we check, we're up to 200 speed. I think that's good. We've got 2 crew upgrades as well. There's also a new slot. Because this ship can launch fighters, we can upgrade our fighters. So putting a point in here, why is it not getting the tooltip? There it is. Gives ordnances. Ordnance is the strange word they use for fighters, for planes and stuff. So this just gives a flat 10% chance per level to avoid the ships being destroyed. That's great. I'm going to take 1 point in servitors, and I'm going to put 1 point in 10% avoidance, basically. Because this is my new flagship, I don't need to worry about the Commissar. I worked out what the Navigator does, by the way. If you warp a ship out of a battle early, the Navigator, there's a chance that the ship won't appear in um, your selection for the next mission because it could be lost in the warp, and the Navigator reduces the chances of that happening. So it's kind of a penalty for getting out early. You obviously want to get out early on a good ship because you might want to gain the levels, but there's a kind of a downside to that, which I like. So that's him upgraded. I have the choice now of either upgrading the crew. I can just upgrade the crew for free, so we're going to get second level of servitors on this guy. That's a no-brainer. We have 192 points left. We have the choice of buying a new ship, upgrading our escort ships, or upgrading this Dauntless. I really like the idea of possibly upgrading the swords. What can we get for them? Improved range, macro cannon. Macro cannon, I don't know. They don't fire a lot. I don't know if it's worth it. There's not a huge amount we can get here. Improved auger bays might be really interesting because we could use the swords to scout. What's their current auger range? Detection range is 5,000, which is I think flat for all of my ship. So that would give my sword frigates 7,500 detection range. Any sword ship ever. That means I could use them for scouting. I think I'm going to grab that. I think that's an interesting use. Oh, it's too expensive. It costs 200 for that. So we're going to sit on that. I think if I buy this upgrade, it's going to cost 200 for him as well. It's only cost 50. Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll bet an upgrade for this Dauntless, and we're going to get the same one. We're going to get the armor-piercing macro cannons. It just means that these two ships are basically interchangeable, and if one of them gets destroyed, I don't have to spend valor repairing them. I can just take the next one in. We're not going to unlock another cruiser, because there's only 2 choices for Imperials, the Dauntless and the Dauntless Mark II, and I much prefer the Mark II, and I've got 2 of them, so I think it's fine. So, I will play some more games and I will comment them, but I'll only up ones that I think are really good, that will be enjoyable, and I'll try and do one a day. And then when we get to the next line, which I think what's after Cruiser, I think it's Battle Cruiser, but probably before then we'll get into games where I can take 2 cruisers. So probably if I don't have any good games before I unlock 2 cruisers, that's when my next video will come out. I don't want to send out loads and loads of videos. I just want to give people a good idea of this game because I think it's really cool, and hopefully if they polish up the bugs, it'll be fantastic when it comes out. And I might do a playthrough of the single player campaign when it comes out too, because by then hopefully my skills will be good enough that I can make a good showing, because it looks crazy. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you've got any comments, please leave them. I'd love to read them. Thank you very much. Bye.